A season of change for the Cincinnati Bengals. 16 years Marvin Lewis was the head coach. They had that run of 5 straight playoff appearances. Still no postseason wins since January of 1991, Chris. And I look at this Bengals team, and I see some talented players.
Yeah.
But, man, is it hard to get excited about them at a time when we're excited about the Browns, we're intrigued by the Steelers, we try to respect what the Ravens are doing, and then there are the Bengals. They just feel like they are mired in this malaise that has kind of descended on the franchise, and they don't know how to get their way out of it. Well, one way to get out of it is change coaches, and they hope that Zac Taylor can come in and really set a new tone, whatever that tone may be.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a team really flying under the radar more, or, a team that people are just brushing to the side more than the Cincinnati Bengals. The big point, though, like you said, there's talent for a team that nobody talks about or we don't want to talk about. And I get it because we have Zac Taylor, who's an unproven commodity as far as a play caller or a head coach. So we got to see that part of it. Andy Dalton's not exactly the most exciting guy in the world at the quarterback position. But then, damn, you go through the rest of the roster and you start to hit some impressive football players. Joe Mixon, he's a top-end running back. A.J. Green still being in the fold there. Tyler Boyd at wide receiver. You get to the defensive side of the ball and you get in their secondary, Mike. It's talented. Whether it's Drake Kirkpatrick or William Jackson, who I think is one of the better corners in football. The defensive line still with Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap and a lot of other good football players too. So to me, the talent is there. They're going to be a thorn in everybody's side. I really look at them as a team that can be anywhere from 6-10 to 9-7. I don't know how you look at it, but it's just a lack of, sizzle factor with that football team right now. And I guess the big thing more than anything with the Bengals is, does Andy Dalton still to save his job to become the quarterback of the future, or will this be the last year of the Andy Dalton era there in Cincinnati?
Yeah, as you were rattling off all those names, I'm thinking, wait a minute, they got all these good players, but they weren't very good last year. They were 6-10 last year, and early in the season, it felt like they could maybe surprise some people, but they just weren't able to get it done. And Andy Dalton was a second-round pick back in 2011, last year of his contract. They added Ryan Finley. I know that's a guy you really like in round 4, and maybe Ryan Finley gets a chance to supplant Andy Dalton. And, Andy Dalton's been banged up from time to time. Maybe he gets a chance to come in and play and pull a Lamar Jackson where, hey, here I am, and I'm pretty good, and I'm going to keep the starter on the bench even when he's healthy. But they seem to be ambivalent about Andy Dalton. If they weren't, they would extend his contract. They want to see how he does in this new offense under Zac Taylor. I just feel like this is a season of transition for the Bengals as Zac Taylor finds his footing. Because the thing is, a 3-year, 4-year contract, whatever it may be, Mike Brown does not pay people to not work. We thought Marvin Lewis was safe for another year because he had signed a 2-year extension at the end of the 2017 season. The reality was it was a 1-year extension with a 1-year option, so they were able to fire him and owe him nothing. Zac Taylor's going to be there for a while. So this is that almost redshirt year, that scholarship year where you try to figure out what you have and where you're going, and it begins and ends with quarterback. But
yes,
Chris,
it does.
It's just so hard to get excited by this team. The graphic we had up, key additions, Kerry Wynn and B.W. Webb. All due respect to Kerry Wynn and B.W. Webb, but that doesn't get me excited about the Bengals.
No, you're right. They did nothing in free agency that gets you excited. They lost Vontaze Burfict. Re-signed Tyler Eifert, Darqueze Dennard re-signed, Preston Brown re-signed, but no major moves.
They're keeping more guys. They're keeping more guys from the 6-10 team. Yippee!
Yeah, you're right. They are. But I still think they looked at their team, like you said, and goes, okay, we feel like we have talent here. We know we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Let's continue to build. I don't think they're a playoff caliber football team, but I think they're a team that can upset some teams' playoff wishes in December because of their talent, have done a good job of addressing the O-line there in Cincinnati. But ultimately, I don't know if there's enough difference makers on the defensive side of the ball, and I don't know if I have enough faith in Andy Dalton to get them to the promised land or the playoffs in that way. And I would ultimately believe that this is the last year of the Andy Dalton era in Cincinnati.
I think the one thing about the Bengals, and this has been a theme that has come up throughout the 18 years I've been doing this, You hear owners all the time and coaches and GMs say that our goal is to win the Super Bowl. Our goal is to win the Super Bowl. I feel like Mike Brown, the owner of the Bengals, is the one guy who understands how you win in this sport is make money. and his goal is to make as much money as possible. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think he's at least being honest about what's going on here, because only one team is going to win the Super Bowl every year. If that's your standard for success, you're going to be upset almost all the time. And in the case of most franchises, you're always going to be upset. But if your goal is, hey, you know what, we understand this is a business, we understand we have to act like we want to win the Super Bowl, but bottom line is we're just counting money here, then you're a winner. And that's just always been the reputation about the Bengals. They just truly don't care about winning a Super Bowl. They care about maximizing their profit, which is fine. That's what every business does. And again, at least they're somewhat honest about it, but it's hard to get excited about the team at times like this when it feels like they really aren't trying to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I don't want to say they're not trying to win it, but they certainly, yes, make some head-scratching moves, and we all question maybe how the organization is run in general. I mean, it seems almost on a yearly basis, really.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.